Switching gears again, this time like Vin Diesel, to off court. Look, we're not gonna have real examples for you because
anything
Chris
that
and I
didn't like, we didn't cop.
Yeah, Chris and I are to the point if we don't like it, we're just not gonna get it. We don't care. Even if, would you say like if it was a dope colorway but the quality was real bad, would you cop it? Like for example, if the Cement Force,
we've done that for years.
I know but I think we're more mature now. So if the Cement Force came out just like they did back in 2012 or 2012. If the Cement Force came out just like they did in 2012 tomorrow, are we copying?
It depends. Do we know that they're getting remastered?
No, it's just like we see it.
So actually, this is something I can't throw one shoe under the bus. I have to throw as the worst or most disappointing of 2015, Jordan Brand's entire remastered project. The entire thing.
You think so?
It's so inconsistent, dude.
It's inconsistent, but they give you bangers. In our last video, the best of, we both agreed that this is one of the most comfortable sneakers of.
Yeah, but you can take half of the entire project and throw it all away. You could take half of it.
But
think of what else dropped.
I know, but wait.
No. Think of what else dropped with this. Those green 4s, the bad apples.
Right before it though was the military blue. Look, this.
No, the military blue wasn't.
We could argue all day. This is a glass half empty.
You're talking about the Legend blues though.
That's what I meant. Not military. Yeah,
but those are dope.
This is a glass half full, glass half empty conversation. It's 50-50. I don't agree with the remaster being a failure because
I didn't say it was failure. I said it was disappointing.
Half of it is.
Which means that it's disappointing.
Yeah, but
if you're 50-50 from the line, you're kind of disappointing.
That's different, okay? Because if you're 50-50 from the line, you had to shoot 100% of those shots. We don't have to cop 100% of these releases.
No, but we're talking about what was put to us, like what was brought out to us.
I know, but the ones that weren't good,
what was rolled out.
But the ones that weren't good, we didn't get.
That's the best part about being. That's the best part about being a consumer, though.
I know.
So when you have your player for your fantasy game and you don't have a choice to, well, you do have a choice to put him on the bench that day, but you don't know if he's going to play like trash that night. Right. You know what I mean? So if he's 50-50 that day, then that sucks.
That's different. Look, Chris.
No.
Look at this. What was one Jordan remastered shoe that you wanted, but were disappointed in it? And so you didn't get it.
Well, either the shoe was dope, so I bought it, or the shoe was whack.
So you didn't get it. It would be different if this shoe came out and you're like, I love that colorway. And the quality was like the green force.
Pull those out though.
These ones?
Yeah. This shoe is straight up OG. Okay, everything, midsole, all this stuff, except for this weird little bump right there. All right, that's weird, man. That's not consistent. And they just dropped this colorway a couple years ago. From all I know, so that was another point though, is that when they dropped the whole remastered thing, they specifically said that not everything is going to be remastered. But how much have retros all been? They've all been the same price. So how do you know the difference between a remastered Jordan or not? If they're all set at the same... No.
Come on, Chris.
When they put out
their haven't answered my question. What was one shoe that you wanted from the remastered collection, but it was whack?
There wasn't one.
That's the thing. So we can't sit here and say that the remastered thing was a disappointment because there was good ones.
It was, well, there's going to be good.
What were you disappointed in? What were you disappointed in from the remastered collection?
The way that they rolled everything out, the prices, okay? The way that the shoes...
prices come with it because we've been complaining before the remastered about the prices.
No, but still, the prices, but differentiating between what is remastered and what isn't. There was no differentiation between it. Okay, that's weird. Which means that they were all remastered, supposedly. Okay? These two 7s both dropped this year. They're both remastered. They're both Nike Air. Do you see any difference in this?
Well, yeah, the dip. Was that every pair?
It's just not, yes, it was every pair. It's not just the dip. Look at the shape. This is the way that the OG was shaped. So you would say you're disappointed
by this?
I think it's inconsistent. It's inconsistent.
Everything's inconsistent. Someone's 72 and 10s might have a chip right here, or it might be slightly yellowed right here.
I'm just saying. They straight up said that they're gonna build these with white gloves on. You can't tell me that's some corny ass dude.
If I feel like they did with these.
Okay, but then they didn't for the next one.
But I didn't cop that one.
That's inconsistent though. It's the definition of inconsistent.
You could tell. You could have went into the store, Chris. You could have went into the store and said
retros were not sitting until just this recent.
You could have said, well, you could have opened the box and you could have said, that's whack. Then not copped it. Then I'd be okay with you saying it's a disappointment. But you didn't. You got these anyways.
The whole thing is disappointing.
It's not the whole thing.
It is because they brought to us this whole line of we're bringing it back.
Were you happy with these?
You weren't around when I was around.
Were you happy with these?
They're okay.
What do you mean they're okay?
That's exactly what I mean.
So they're just okay? Mm-hmm. Is there anything wrong with this?
They don't look like the original 11s, dude.
But what about these? Were you okay with these?
Those are fantastic.
What about those?
Those are fantastic.
Legends. What else?
Guess what that is?
What?
That to me is inconsistent.
Look, I'm not going to say that these are just okay. I think these are fire. I think these are great.
The colorway is dope as shit.
No, I think they're great.
The outsole is super dope. The materials.
It's not ballistic mesh. Look,
yeah, the materials are legit.
This is a thumbs up.
The way that they stitch on the 23, everything. But this is not the OG shape, dude. This is not the OG carbon fiber. When you put them on, they don't give you that, oh, fuck, I stepped in some p***. That's not the feeling that they give you. This is not original. So what are you doing? And this is $220.
Chris,
it was $220.
You're being so unfair.
No.
Because you're complaining about the stuff you didn't get.
Do you know what's I was complaining about the stuff that I didn't get that they said we would.
What did they say?
They said that they were going to return back to the way it used to be, as close as possible. They said that they would not put out a shoe that was better than what MJ got. Guess what this is?
They did say that.
Guess what this is? This is upper
That's an unreleased sample.
Still, this wasn't even made this way. The unreleased sample
wasn't even supposed to be made.
But the unreleased sample wasn't even this nice.
So this is nicer, is what you're saying?
Yeah, so why did they do that? Like, it's inconsistent.
Now you're complaining that it's nicer than what it was. When before you were complaining that it's not as nice as it was. Now you're saying, look. I definitely think there are some stoinkers in the remaster.
It's inconsistent. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it was a flop. I'm saying that it's inconsistent.
But you don't have to get those inconsistent ones, and I didn't. I didn't get the sweater 7s.
Me neither.
I didn't get the
that's
Marvin the Martian 7s.
That's something else.
Trash.
That's something else that I think they need to stay away from. These weird whack stories that nobody cares about.
But the banger colorways
are dope.
The OG colorways that come out, the ones that you could argue are the ones that Jordan wore, right? You know what I mean? I mean, we haven't seen Jordan wear that prior to the retro, right?
Yeah.
The ones that he did wear, they came correct on those ones.
Most of the time.
Look, if you're disappointed by the remaster collection, which I'm trying to therapy you that you're not. You're not.
Saying that but it is disappointing.
The sorry ass people who did buy those inconsistent remasters, shame on you. That's not our fault. That's not Jordan. Well, it is Jordan Brand's fault, but that is your fault. Okay, you should not have copped those.
If you bought something that you didn't like that is your fault.
That's your bad. Yeah. And you can't say, oh, I had to get it because they were. Look, the person gives you the box and you could buy it or not. Open the box.
That's the whole thing, though, is that, like, I completely agree with that. And that's what I'm saying is we're just looking at the project. Okay, not individual releases, because I could sit here and say what I thought was hot and what I thought was not.
Right.
That's different, but we're just talking about the whole thing in general. They rolled out this big old thing, okay? They made a huge big deal about it.
It only fools the idiots, Chris.
I'm just saying
that fools the idiots to go into the store and it's like, this is a remaster, it's supposed to be dope. Then they buy it.
I'm just saying.
Smart people like us, Chris, you're not disappointed. You're not. So
we don't have to.
I'm happy with the remaster project.
We don't have to see eye to eye on it, though.
I know, but I'm trying to tell you that you're happy with it.
I think that this year was a good year. Okay, they brought out some of the best colorways ever. Some of the best. Some of the best.
I know.
Colorways ever.
Exactly. That's why
and
the
I think
remastered is not a disappointment.
No, just listen. Just the whole thing in general. And so I think next year in 2016, they're going to kill it. That's what they need to stick with.
At the same time, though, they're making so much money off dumb people that buy those trash colorways. So you can't. Yeah, and I can't
fault. No, I can't fault Jordan Brand for
if anyone, blame the people who are copping those things, because that tells Jordan Brand that they could put little to no effort into making fresh colorways.
That's what I'm saying, though, is that's what we were doing before. And it's not just the colorways. We're talking about, like, quality. You know what I'm saying?
But in the past, there were some years where there were like 1, 2, if you were lucky, 3 dope Jordan brand OG releases.
Yeah.
Now, look, we got the 72 and 10s. One. We got this. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Those aren't OGs. Those are Retro Pluses.
For the new generation, those are OGs.
But they're I don't care what generation you're from, they're Retro Plus colorways.
Okay, so 1, 2,
3.
What else?
Technically could be a 0.5. It
okay, so
dropped.
now you're doing semantics, but we can't do it on those.
Those dropped though. They were a Retro Plus colorway in '99.
Okay, so 3.5.
Okay,
what else?
The Aquas, OG colorway.
What about these?
These were dope right here.
Oh yeah.
Those
not
are sick.
these ones, not these ones.
Yeah, no. These were dope though.
Oh yeah, these ones. So look, we already got 4.5 OG stuff.
Yeah.
That's 1.5 more than some other years that we got.
See, and check out, grab these. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying though with inconsistency, okay?
Okay.
Call me the dumbass, I don't care because I did buy it. All right?
Okay.
All right? So, they were half-assing this thing.
Okay.
They labeled this as remastered.
I know.
They labeled it as remastered. Okay, but is it remastered?
No.
It's halfway remastered.
And whose fault is that?
That's my fault. But this is a sick-ass colorway.
That's why you're disappointed. I found Chris's problem. This is it. No. This is why you're look.
It's not because of that one thing. It's just because of overall. Look, check this out. This was halfway remastered. They did nice leather on the upper. They did suede on the mid panel. No suede on the midsole, which is supposed to be. Then they went and said, well, we're putting back on the metal Jumpman on the heel. Me? Great. Guess what though? That toe box leather is not remastered, dude.
I know.
That's synthetic garbage.
I know.
And that is what is, like, all of this. Okay, look. This feels really, really nice. Okay? This feels really, really nice. But you know what? You can't see any of it. They rolled in all of these edges.
I know.
And they only do that when it's synthetic.
Okay.
Okay, so they make it look premium, but it's not.
All the people who cop this, all the people who cop the Marvin 7s, and all the crap remastered ones that we're talking about.
The Marvins had great quality. It was a trash colorway.
Okay, those are all sacrificial lambs for me to cop this, and I am so happy with this. I'm so happy with this. I much rather see idiots cop the stuff that I just mentioned so that I can get this, because in years past,
they were buying all of it.
In years past, we did not get this.
No.
The Jordan 4 cements, we did not get that.
No.
In this quality.
And I agree with that.
So if I have to get
But pull out those right there. Pull out the powder tints. It's the same shit.
And it's up to you, the consumer, to pick, like, okay, this is not a remastered.
You gotta hold somebody accountable for something though.
If somebody's holding accountable.
If you go and you tell a new potential employer that you know how to do this, that, and the other. Okay, and then they hire you because they said that you could do it, and then you come into work and you're like, well, you already hired me, bro. Like, I can't really do it. I just said that I could do it.
What else?
Come on, man.
What else?
Right behind you, Laney's white metallic.
These aren't great. These are stiff as hell.
Hold them with the white ones that came out this year. It's the same leather again. It's the same thing. Come on, bro. Come on.
So what you're saying is there's exceptions.
Of course, there's always exceptions.
This, remember this? Dope. 4 cements, whack, right?
Yes.
But remember these?
Well, that one doesn't count because that was actually a nicer pair.
What do you mean it doesn't count? You just made the argument for these.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you're going to say that this is trash...
It's not trash.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a good pair.
That's what I'm saying.
So yes, there are some exceptions, but...
And that's how it's always been, though.
There have been no bangers.
That's how it's always been, though. So Jordan Brand, the way that they work
is one good retro... The year this came out, I believe,
and the Mars ones were good too. They had the good leather on them.
You're kind of like the person in a relationship where the other person promised, like, don't worry, honey, like, I got the rent, or I got this, and I made all these promises, and then they didn't, and you're a little heartbroken, and I get it. But to me, I think the remastered, I'll take it.
If you're telling me that you're going to pay my rent and cook me dinner and you don't, you best believe I'm holding it to you, man. Like, all right. You know what I mean? So that's all, especially if I'm putting out.
So let us know what we talked about. Was there any shoe that you felt duped to buy Jordan Brand or didn't buy because you knew it was bad quality and you wish it was good quality? Let us know, because that, in definition, would be a disappointment. Apparently, Chris's disappointment, even though he isn't, And I am not disappointed, even though I'm not. So we'll leave it at that.
I think they did a fairly good job, but there is much room for improvement.
Because this video, we're going to be talking about the worst of or most disappointing of this past year. Let's start on the court. We both agree on this. What is your favorite on-court model of this past year?
Like just my number one all time?
Number one, you're going to the gym. You just learned that Steph and Clay are going to be playing pickup with you, so you want to rock your best